Hey y'all, Andrea from Andrea Speaks TV, back to bring you news and commentary you can use. Listen, thank you so much for your continued support. You know, here on the channel, I've been documenting the migrant crisis for some time now, okay? Even as far back as several months ago, okay? Make sure you check out my migrant crisis coverage playlist here on the channel, okay? But I want to come and give you an update. So much so, y'all, that I am in my car. I had to pull over into, a parking lot area and bring you all this news. I can't believe it, y'all. Listen to this, okay? According to my sources, right? We've talked about New York City Mayor Eric Adams. As a matter of fact, I even got a chance to go to New York this past summer. I also documented that in some videos on the channel. Make sure you check that out as well. You know, I've been telling you that New York City Mayor Eric Adams has been issuing pretty much basically a cry for help concerning the migrant crisis. Okay, we have talked about what's happening at the border, how the U.S.-Mexico border, how thousands and thousands of men, women, and children, okay, families too, are coming across the border for whatever reason, right? And the state of Texas, okay, Governor Greg Abbott, they have seems like a system in place where they are sending these migrants, okay, migrant families by bus to other cities known as sanctuary cities, to cities such as New York City. We've talked about Los Angeles. Where else have we covered, y'all? Chicago, Denver, right? Chicago, Illinois, Denver, Colorado. But Mayor Eric Adams, he seems to be very vocal in saying, hey, he's even accusing Texas, saying, basically it's not right what they're doing. And he's calling on, our government, okay, our current administration to do more to offer assistance, financial assistance, okay, to assist New York City with the migrant crisis, okay, and housing the migrants, providing resources to them in New York City, okay. Now, we've heard other mayors, voice their concerns as well. I've spoken to you all about what Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has said. But now what I want to come on and share with you and get your thoughts and opinion, okay? New York City Mayor Eric Adams is now taking action, y'all, okay? It was just announced that New York City Mayor Eric Adams, okay, is suing, okay? He's bringing a lawsuit against the bus companies dropping off migrants for, guess what, y'all? A whopping $700 million. Yes. I should have told you to sit down before I told you this, shouldn't I? New York City, you heard me right. Yes, let me repeat it. Okay. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is now saying that he's suing. He's taking action, y'all. He's suing the bus companies who are dropping off the migrants for $700 million. Let me give you some details about this, y'all, okay? New York City Mayor Eric Adams, and his administration announced on Thursday, okay, that they are suing 17 charter bus companies transporting migrants to the city for approximately $700 million. Okay, now I want you to tell me in the comments below, right, what is your first thought hearing that information, okay? Now, according to my sources, over the past 2 years, okay, this is not something allegedly that just started. This is something, especially, I've had a chance to read the comments. Many of you all who live along the U.S.-Mexico border in the state of Texas, in the state of Arizona, you all have told me firsthand your experiences, what you're seeing in your local communities, okay? I'm going to do a video we're specifically going to talk about as well, or you can leave your thoughts in the comments. What is the migrant crisis doing to small rural towns in the country? Okay, it seems like a lot of resources, from my understanding and my research, a lot of resources are getting somewhat depleted, okay, in all of this. And what are the small towns to do? But we're going to talk about that in another video, okay? Let's get back to this lawsuit. So, over the past 2 years, right, according to my sources, the migrant crisis has forced the city to have to make drastic budget cuts. Okay, I talked about that in a separate video where New York City is planning to make cuts to areas in the budget such as education, which I believe at the time of this article, there's a group of teachers who are bringing a lawsuit against the New York City public school system. Cuts to the sanitation department, the police force, and other areas, okay? So, the migrant crisis, okay, according to my sources, has forced the city, New York City, to have to make drastic budget cuts and open hundreds of new shelter sites across the 5 boroughs, okay? In the court filing, okay, let's talk about the documents that were filed in this $700 million lawsuit, okay? The city is seeking more than $700 million from these companies to cover the cost of caring and sheltering these migrants, okay? So I don't know what, I don't know how they're calculating their numbers, right? But according to New York City Mayor Eric Adams and his administration, the cost to care for and house migrants is $700 million, okay? And let's think about it, y'all. I'm going to give you just a few seconds to think about that. Let's think about that for a minute. $700 million, okay? Now, I say at the end of the day, these people are human, yes, okay? What about the people? What about the residents? Okay, when I spent some time in New York City over the summer, I got a chance to meet some really good people in the Harlem area. Okay, I got a chance to go to, the other boroughs, right? The only place I think I didn't get a chance to go to was Queens. But I did see the signs for it. But what about the citizens, okay, the residents of New York City, right? Very good people in New York City, okay? They don't have, the Southern hospitality like we do in the South here in Georgia. But I met some very nice people, okay? It's just Southern hospitality is not a thing up there because, of course, it's not the South, right? $700 million, y'all. $700 million. $700 million. Do you think that's an accurate figure? $700 million to care for and house migrants. I'm not here to criticize, I'm not here to, to criticize the migrants and their families, because like I said, you never really know why they are coming here, as I have always been saying, okay? People are, there's some instances where people are coming to escape a war-torn country. There may be some type of conflict they're trying to escape from and come to a better way of life for themselves, their family. It could be a natural disaster. We never really may know why these people are coming, okay? But then there are different groups of people. There are concerns that, there may be some possible, allegedly, crime involved. I talked recently about concerns in all of this regarding trafficking, okay? All of those are legitimate concerns, right? But what I want to say is, at the end of the day, these people are humans, okay? I even expressed concern, the fact that they're being, and I said this months back, okay, before this was really headline news like it is now. It is something, to me, in my opinion, it's something strange about what gives someone the right to say, you know what, I'm not me, okay? What gives someone the right to say, you know what, I'm going to put you on a bus and I'm going to send you to another place where I want you to go, okay? In some instances, they were told they were going to Chicago. They ended up in a whole nother city a little further away, okay? But at the end of the day, these people are still human in many communities, okay? We're in the winter months here in America, right? Places like New York City, Chicago are extremely cold. And to just drop them off and just leave them, you got to ask yourself, okay, is that a humane thing to do? Okay, that is one question that I have about all of this, okay? Is that really, I feel like something in my eye, y'all, hold on. Is that really a humane thing that they're doing, okay? People are certainly entitled to their own opinion. I'm just asking a question, right? But what do you all think about that? It does ring an alarm, kind of like, well, wait a minute, what's going on? Why $700 million? Okay, what if they took that money and use it on the people in New York City? Okay, to help weather the homeless, to help people find housing. Okay, there are a lot of apartment buildings, high-rise buildings in New York City, right? To help people to build housing. What about improve the schools? Okay, that $700 million can be stretched in so many different places, so many different areas to help improve the lives and the communities, okay, and provide resources to the people of New York City, okay? But for whatever reason, the Mayor Eric Adams and his administration feel like that $700 million is needed by suing the bus companies who are dropping off these migrants. Okay, let me know your thoughts on this, right? Listen, now in the meantime, okay, my sources say that Adams's executive order requiring that these bus companies only drop off migrants within a certain time frame and with at least 32 hours advance notice is only partly working. Okay, remember I was telling you that different communities were putting ordinances and things like that in place to help curb some of this unplanned, unexpected drop-offs, okay? The buses, my sources say, have instead dropped off more than 1,000 migrants since Saturday at train stations in New Jersey in order to avoid any fines or penalties, okay? So that's their little way, allegedly, if they're doing this, to work around the ordinances, okay, by dropping them off in New Jersey, which, depending on what part of New York City you're in, New Jersey is literally like right across the river, okay, right across the Hudson River. This is very concerning. Okay, another concern with just dropping them off in the neighborhood, these people, in my mind, you know, if they're coming here, if they walked or they've had to travel to get here, go through extreme conditions, right? They're hungry, they're tired, they're looking for clothing, food, shelter, basic needs at minimum, right? Who knows, you know, it's not safe for them to just be out there in these weather conditions. And you also have to think about the people in the communities, okay? You know, think about your own local community, okay? What if you just looked out of your window or you were driving by and you see 1,000 people just walking down the street that you know are not from your community, okay? People may be fearful. People may be concerned about their safety, their well-being. You know, these are all legitimate concerns, okay? Not to say that they're coming to do harm, but if you just have 1,000 people in a strange place, okay, you never know what could happen. The article also says these companies then buy migrants' train tickets, okay, to New York City, which is not covered under this executive order. So what they're saying they're doing is they're dropping them off in New Jersey, okay, because they have the ordinance in place. So they say, you know what? We're going to work around the system since you have the ordinance in place for New York City, we're going to drop them off across the river in New Jersey. Then they just can take the train to New York City. Okay, what do y'all think about that? And it sounds like they're going to have to go back and tweak this executive order to cover situations like that. Or maybe New Jersey will create their own, okay? Now, New Jersey police are also now reportedly helping guide migrants onto these trains headed out of the state and into New York City, okay? I wonder what their thoughts are on that. When asked why, okay, according to my sources, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy claimed it is because federal resources are being directed to New York, okay? He was quoted as saying, and I quote, "New York City is where the federal resources are located and directed for these migrants." And that is a fact, okay? That's what Governor Murphy said in a gaggle, and what's being called a gaggle, to reporters on Wednesday. But listen to this, y'all. Adams's team says that this is not true, okay? So you got New Jersey saying, no, the federal resources are going to New York City and New York. But New York City is saying, no, that is not true. The federal government has only allocated $150 million to aid the city in the migrant crisis. And so far, the city has only received $40 million of that money. Can y'all believe that? It's starting to sound more bizarre, isn't it? But wait a minute. My question is, how much money has the state of Texas received from the government? not only the state of Texas, but what about the communities along the border? What about the other cities allegedly where the migrants are being taken to? Okay, what about the other states? Okay, I read a report in one of my other most recent migrant crisis videos, and I told you all that so many hundreds of them allegedly had been relocated to my state of Georgia. Okay, and like I say, you know, there are advocacy groups waiting to assist them to transition, to help them find things such as food, clothing, temporary or permanent shelter. There are agencies and organizations to help them find not only housing, but jobs, okay, job placement, as well as those who have families who have children. They help them get into the school system and get established there, okay? So there are groups waiting to help them, okay? But even those groups, y'all, are starting to feel overwhelmed, okay? Because a lot of times they have limited resources as well, okay? So, however, according to my sources, comparatively, the city has already spent more than $3.1 billion, y'all, since the spring of 2022. Now, according to Mayor Eric Adams, he said this, and I quote, "New York City has led the nation in responding to this national humanitarian crisis, providing what he says is compassion, care, shelter, and vital services to more than 164,500 migrants who have come through our care since spring 2022. That's according to a spokesperson for Adams, okay? This person also continued by saying, "While we are grateful for the help our federal partners have provided thus far, simply put, it's not enough. We need meaningful financial help, expedited work pathways, and a national resettlement strategy." Okay, that's what they're calling on. Meanwhile, New York Governor Kathy Hochul says she is planning a trip to Washington, D.C., again to speak with the White House about the impact the migrant crisis is having on the state's budget. I wonder will more states follow, okay? Now, when asked why she is not asking Murphy to take in more migrants, Hochul said many migrants want to come to New York City, okay? She also said, and I quote, "They're saying they want to go to New York City because of the right to shelter." Remember, I talked about that as well, okay? Hochul said, referring to a court mandate that requires the city to provide shelter to anyone who needs it, okay? New York City is the only city in the country to have this type of mandate in place, okay? So maybe that does justify why they're saying allegedly the migrants want to come to New York City, because according to this court mandate, they have to be given housing, okay? I wonder why New York is the only city in the country with such a mandate, okay? Now, Governor Kath and will other cities now join in having a mandate such as that, okay, to help address allegedly, or to be a solution, so to speak, to the migrant crisis, okay? Governor Kathy Hochul says she has only been urging New Jersey and counties surrounding New York City to implement a similar executive order to Adams's that would limit how and when buses with migrants arrive, okay? The only town so far only one town in Rockland County, my sources say, has done so, okay? All right, y'all, let me know your thoughts about this. This is very concerning. Wow. I just think about, you know, like I said, there is a humanitarian duty to help people at times, depending on their situation. If you got it, okay? Does our country really have it to give? That's another question. But the point I want to make is, don't forget about the American people, okay? We have people who are homeless. We have homeless veterans. We have people from all walks of life dealing with different issues. Y'all have a video coming. Do you know that many people have been identified as being overpaid by the Social Security Administration, and they're now having to they're having their benefits withheld to pay it back? People are losing their houses. People are losing their jobs. We have all kind of things going on, y'all, okay? At a time like this, they can't forget about the American people. All right. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video in its entirety. Make sure that you check out my migrant crisis coverage playlist. It's here in the comments, in the description, as well as the many other videos. Okay. If you're watching for the first time, thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you have been watching me for a while, I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Listen, make sure you like this video. Share this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I want to invite you to subscribe. Join our community. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. This is very concerning. When is it going to stop? What is the real solution in all of this? All right. Take care, y'all.